you get any further?
I did.
Where you at?
So I got to chapter where I got to was chapter 3 in my book, Sicily,
Mhm.
and it took it took a violent turn.
How so for you?
Well, the duel or the match to the death with Tehran, and I have already forgotten the other character, the other knight, who was jealous of, who was jealous that I guess Princess Agnes gave Tehran the necklace. Or beyond the same.
So far I don't know an Agnes.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't remember a fight to the death, and I don't remember it being violent. I know there's a Philip who's Tarrant's friend,
Yes.
and then the Princess of Sicily is. They're trying to make a match between France and Italy, and the
Yes.
princess doesn't want anything to do with the match until they did the weird thing with the bed, which I don't understand.
I think I reached the point or the part where Tehran has sailed to what is that port where the Genoese are? These different translations.
Is there a character named like Rudolph or Randolph?
Not yet. I mean, I have not come
That
across a Randolph.
one that when Tarrant says, "I will be the first on land and the last to leave," and then the Randolph guy tricks Tarrant.
No.
Uh,
Maybe I.
I don't know the necklace. I remember the necklace like a long time ago, like.
Do you know what it involved? I mean, ooh.
And then there's a they call him the philosopher who's in jail.
I'm wondering if this is the big portion that they cut out because I have not met a philosopher yet. I mean, because you know that I would just be so thrilled if I.
Well, the philosopher really didn't do that much. Basically, trick the king into giving him more bread, and that's how he knew that the king wasn't supposed to be king because he wasn't the legitimate child of the lineage. And but the philosopher's keeping it a secret for the king because the king eventually let him out.
I have not read anything like that.
So did you get to so you have a princess of Sicily? Is that Agnes?
No, that's not Agnes.
I don't know who Agnes is because there's the princess of Sicily and
Yes.
there's a Philip.
Yes.
Did they do a weird thing with a bed and a needle?
Not yet. Do you remember the part where Tarrant was always intervening, I guess, for Philip
Yeah, because Philip's kind of
Gauche?
yeah, and
Yes.
that's what the princess is worried about.
Yes.
And Tarrant's but trying to get Philip, trying to make the match happen for the two
Yes.
countries. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think Philip said something that was very awkward. And, oh no, something about the bread. Do you remember the bread? Where he started eating the bread first or something, and he wasn't supposed to?
No.
Really?
Unless I just forgot about it, but I don't. The bread I remember is the philosopher in jail bread, and then someone got in jail with the philosopher, but I don't remember who. Did they? They didn't throw Philip in jail. And then they have a ball, and the princess asks Tarrant about, should I be with Philip? And Tarrant's like, yes, of course. And then so she asked the philosopher who just got released from jail, and he goes, no, that man is a he's always going to annoy you, but he will die as a king and a knight or something. But he's like, but up until that point, he's just going to annoy you.
That is so interesting. No. I am really wondering if this is the portion that my abridged version took out
I wonder if,
or left out. I mean, just because it has not mentioned any philosopher whatsoever.
yeah, that's just what they called him. They might have called him a different name. If I had all the time, I guess I could try to read both of them. But yeah, I'm not. Who's Agnes?
I may have her name wrong, but let me look for her now.
Was it the brooch at the beginning that she let Tarrant take off of her, and they were made a big deal that it was like she let him get so close to.
Yes.
Because that was way back. That was like before the knights and the kings and the tournaments and stuff. I mean, it's all knights and kings. That's not making sense. That's before he fought the three kings and killed them.
The Three Kings.
Yeah, they were the three kings, and that's why the brother got mad. So he came, and he also killed the brother. Yeah, it was all the tournament stuff, the big tournament.
Yes, but I don't know if they were introduced as brothers, though.
That was like one of the brothers. There was three kings, and then one of the brothers of the king came and challenged Tarrant.
Yeah, she's mentioned in my version as Fair Agnes.
Who's fighting about the necklace?
I
And this is in Sicily?
I think this is before Sicily.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so something like that happened.
All right.
So you're not in Sicily yet.
I am in Sicily.
Just not, I guess,
I mean,
as far.
but I am thinking some parts may have been left out. I mean, see, because I read that not too long ago, and I feel like I am not much further from that point.
Right.
So my edition must have left out a lot of things that you are mentioning now.
Because now there's like a Rudolph or a Randolph, and then Philip's still hanging out, and they're all. Where did I stop?
I have gotten to the point where the king of Sicily and Philip were supposed to sail to France.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, but then they boarded Tarrant's ship to go to
Somewhere else.
Yes.
Was it Tripoli? Or.
It,
I don't know. There was a part where they're all in the boat for the battle, and they kept mentioning different ports, and maybe that's why I'm not clear which port.
It didn't go into a lot of ports in my
Or my
version.
is your next chapter? Do you have a chapter called like Tarrant in Greece or something like that?
So is that where you are now?
That was just one of the chapter or the. It's broken down into like different books, kinda, and one of them was like Tarrant in Greece, and I think that's where the because that's where like the battle is or something.
Okay, so mine are only broken up into chapters. So I'm on chapter 3, which is Sicily. Chapter 4 is Constantinople. Chapter 5 is the battlefield.
Okay, so I must be in the Constantinople / battlefield part. So maybe that's where Rudolph / Randolph is. I can't remember his name.
I am
Ralph.
very interested to find out now. Okay, so I will definitely have to read more this weekend so we can get to the bottom of this.
And so the Princess of Sicily and Philip aren't together.
Not yet. I mean, but they are love interests
Oh, see, that's
of sorts.
yeah. They're trying to be put together, but the princess doesn't want to have anything to do with Philip in my version. Until the bed thing happens. There's a weird bed thing, and I don't understand. I don't get it. I guess it's something so specific to that time period about how Philip acted with this bed that I don't understand what the like. I don't understand what it was supposed to signify that made the princess realize that Philip was a certain kind of person, but it was a mistake because what Philip did. It wasn't to prove that Philip was like a nobleman or something. It was because he ripped his pants and he dropped his needle in the bed and he ripped the sheets off the bed and trying to find the needle, and then he looks at it and goes, oh, I'm not remaking this, so he went and found another bed. And that's supposed to signify something great, to turn the Princess of Sicily's opinion of Philip like completely around, and I have no idea.
That is so funny, and I don't know why. I think it's... All right, so it's because you mentioned bed and needle, and I keep thinking back to The Princess and the Pea. I don't know why, but it's nothing like that, right?
No, it's
Okay.
It has to be something very specific with that.
Okay.
With that culture and time period and the little nuances of the time, because.
So you think the needle plays some?
Well, it was just like one little section, and that's what made the princess go, I want nothing to do with Philip. To, you know what? I'm going to get with Philip. That's when she agrees to the king to marry Philip and put the two countries together. It's because of the bed thing.
Oh my gosh! Okay, that is so funny.
Or if you have that in your version, and I just spoiled that, hopefully it's more clear and you can explain it to me, because
Okay.
I missed something.
Okay.
And I read it I kept going, like, I read it again, and I read it again. I was like, I can't keep reading this, because, like, there's something about it that I'm just not, it's probably obvious, but
All right, so we'll have to get to the bottom of this then. I mean, but was there ever, so far, in my version, she, she never really stated that she did not want to be involved with him. She has just been complaining that Tarot has been interfering with the development of their relationship.
oh, see, mine, she says, like, Tarant keeps trying to convince me to be with him, but I don't want anything to do with him.
Oh, how interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let me read a little further, and then we will have to get back to this. I mean, because this is very, very interesting.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's almost a discrepancy, but then again, I'm sure that it just may be due to the different parts that we're at.
Right.
Maybe.
I mean, so far it seems like the bulk of the story, though, is fairly similar. It's just little things. Maybe I should pull it up on the Apple Books version and read some of it, because I'm sure yours is probably written even differently than mine. I wouldn't say mine's written in an older style, but it doesn't feel modern.
Okay.
Does yours feel modern, if that makes sense?
I think so. I don't get the feel that it's, written in Old English or anything. I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah, it just feels like it's... I mean, I guess maybe that's what the translator was going for, to make it more exact or something, to make it feel older, but yeah, it doesn't feel like it's like a new translation or like a modern translation.
Okay.
I feel like it's an accurate, I mean, without ever reading the previous ones, assuming it's accurate, but...
So I'm very interested. When was the philosopher introduced? Before Sicily?
During... It was like a little like side scene, just to set up this philosopher guy who then talks to the princess, and now they haven't mentioned him again. It's like this whole other little... I wouldn't even say it's a subplot, because it's so minor. Unless he comes back or something.
I was also going to ask you, are you very surprised that the story started with the Count of Warwick, and then after his section, he's never mentioned again? I mean, or at least that's what my edition states, that he is no longer part of the story.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like one of those with the philosopher, I think, where it's like this whole thing, and then it just doesn't really...
Maybe those characters help set up the next scenes, and then after they're no longer needed.
Right. I mean, like I said, we'll see what happens to Philip and see if he, dies as a king and a knight. Like, but other than that, I have no idea.
Okay.
But I didn't get as far in the Tarant as I intended to, because I was at the desk, and I just picked something up and read a couple pages of it, and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting, and then I kind of keep going, and then I was like, well, there's at least 2 now, so I checked it out and then finished that real quick. So so I managed to sneak in a convenience store woman.
You did? Did you finish it?
Huh?
Okay. You know I have to know your thoughts on it.
Told you I had something in my back pocket, and I had a book so small it kind of fit. But
If you could pick one word to describe it, what would you choose?
enjoyable?
Oh, really?
I really liked it.
Okay. The reason why I ask is because a lot of people just automatically say that it's quirky, but I don't know if that fits the main character entirely, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, if it was told from an outside perspective, and you saw Kieko, right? Kieko?
I think I've also listened to the audiobook. I think she's Keiko.
Keiko?
Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't, not 100%.
Keiko.
I wasn't even sure if I got that right, or even close. But if you saw her from like a different perspective, her mannerisms and what she did would probably seem quirky from afar, and that's how like everyone perceives her. But it's told from her point of view, so I wouldn't call it quirky.
As strange as she is, I think everybody who reads the book can find something about her to relate to.
Right.
Do you not agree?
No, I loved how it was how she talked about how she plays along with society by mimicking everyone around her, and I don't know, there were so many little things that I really enjoyed how it was put together, and how if everyone just kind of left her alone based on society standards, she's fine. She's perfectly happy. And, spoiler alert, I'm glad she got back around to it. But it almost sort of lost me when Shiraha,
Shiraha?
yeah, when he started becoming more in focus, because I was like, oh no, this is going to turn into something, and it didn't. And the purpose of his character turned out to be very important for like the character development of the main character. How you had everyone telling her how she should be in society, and then so she's trying so hard to fit this thing that she's actually being used and manipulated by a person, whereas everyone just kind of let her do her own thing and just treated her as she was, none of that would have happened. So yeah, I really, for being such a small, quick book, it definitely had a lot to say.
Oh, that's what I was thinking too. So what I found most interesting about the book is just the fact that she was so happy and content being just a convenience store woman. But society, though, just for some reason we always have an issue with people who are happy with doing menial things.
Right.
When we forget that they just might be happy doing it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
but there's nothing wrong with it. But then again, the societal norms just make you think otherwise.
right, like, what's wrong with being content, Like, I mean, I guess David Goggins would not be content with content, but...
Well, I don't know. He would probably say, if you're a convenience store woman or man, as long as you're doing the best job at it.
And she was.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Then
I'd
you're-
want. If I was manager number 9, that's who I would want.
Yes. And you're just grinding away and you're on top of your game, then you're staying hard.
But then again, Alan Watts would also be like, look, if you're enjoying it and you're vibing in the store and you're doing the right thing,
Yes.
found the happy medium.
Yes. So that's just so funny. But I just kept thinking back, though, that it's people who work at those places. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but, they're sort of looked down upon, I guess, for some people. Don't you think? Not looked down upon, but like...
I know what you mean.
It's not
seem lucrative.
It's not their idea of success, but it's
Right.
Success always about money. I personally feel that if you're happy doing what you're doing, making the money that you are,
Right.
then that's success.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're
But
happy and you're able to live by your own means, like, who's to tell you that you should do otherwise? And
society is always telling us that we have to climb that ladder.
then you find
Climb it fast, climb it hard.
then you get taken advantage of by a man in your bathtub. I ain't all about that. I would feed him boiled vegetables too.
Wasn't that hilarious? And I just got such a kick out of the fact that she calls it his feed. I mean, the food that she gives him, because she considers him an animal.
Right, a pet. And it was just really,
It was just so funny.
and it was really smart how it was built, where the most like energetic he got about looking for a job was when he was looking for jobs for her. Like, it was really, I'm glad it didn't try to turn into like a romantic comedy between two, I guess, unusual individuals or strange individuals. I'm glad it did. That's what I started worrying about. I was like, oh no, this is, and yeah. I hope 30 other people also enjoy.
One patron has already told me that she could really relate to her.
I could, at certain things she did and said I could too. Yeah.
But I wouldn't. Let's see. it's not explicitly mentioned that there's anything wrong with her.
Right.
But you can tell that, something is a little off. But do you feel that that's because she's just purposely portrayed differently?
Like
I mean,
the author portraying her differently.
yes.
I think just to make her a real person. I think that she's somewhere on the autism spectrum for sure.
Okay.
And and you're seeing this world through eyes like that without without the author having to say, "Hi, I'm this convenience store woman, and I have Asperger's or something." Like she's doing it because you're not going to think that about yourself. So you're now seeing this world through these completely different lens, and we treat certain things with certain like stigmas or curiosity, but like you're able to like relate to the people, and that's what matters, is the fact that it's just people, as long as you're not Bathtub Man. The Stone Age stuff was kind of funny though.
Which part?
When he kept doing, like, he'd do something, be like, "Oh, this is how it's been since the Stone Age."
Oh, yes,
Like,
yes.
it was.
All right. We just might have, I mean, that just might be a part of my repertoire now. That's so Stone Age.
Every time I get asked to do something, I'll be like, "Nope, been doing that since the Stone Age."
Oh my goodness. Oh.
Whereas I think that character was just someone who was lazy and manipulative. I don't think that you're supposed to get that same kind of vibes from his perspectives.
Oh, that's a good juxtaposition, I think, that you're making. Oh, yes, okay.
Because they were both considered quote-unquote outcasts of society, but for totally different reasons. And
that's right.
yeah, that's what just made the book great, I think.
I loved
Yeah.
it, too. We'll see, though, come April 12th.
Oh, I mean, you already got at least one.
Yes.
One yes. So, and
Yes.
like, if not everyone liked it, that's good. That's for good discussion. So.
Yes, because that's what I've already told them. Whether you like it or not, there will be plenty to discuss. And the other thing that I wanted to bring up with you is, do you feel that, culturally speaking, Japanese culture and American culture, do you feel that they expect the same things from men and women?
What do you mean?
Like, for instance, how gender roles are portrayed in
Oh, how like you're supposed to get married then stay at home.
yes,
that kind
like
of
in
thing?
the book, and he. All right, so when everybody thought that Shiraha was her new boyfriend,
Right.
that they were all happy for her.
Yeah.
And but he was the one who was supposed to be working and supporting her. But he,
But I mean, that also fit his character, where he was in his own way, didn't want to be a part of society. Also because he was just lazy and manipulative, and I don't. But
do you feel that she knew or realized that that's what he was trying to do?
by the end, maybe, but I don't think it really matters as much, because at the end she realized that she doesn't need to worry about what everyone else thought. That she was doing her own thing at the store. I did love the ending. I thought.
Was it not the most satisfying ending?
I thought it was just so funny how the two girls at the cash register was like, "Oh, she's in a suit. She's clearly supposed to be here."
I just love the fact that she really started to understand just what she liked and who she was at the end, and she wasn't going to let him, stop her.
Right, and she also compares to. I mean, the last bit is comparing essentially the store to a newborn child. So like her nephew, she remembers seeing him, and that's like what society, it kept pushing the children. But for her, she was like, this store is, I guess purpose is a good word. They're pushing
Okay, yes.
the standard man working, woman at home, having children, like that's your purpose. And she's bucking that by being like, no, my purpose is getting these skewers out. And I don't know. Like, I just really,
Yes.
I wouldn't, that was on my radar for things, but I probably wouldn't have picked it up
Oh, really?
as I guess recent as I did
Mm-hmm.
if it wasn't sitting right there.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, what was it? I think someone just returned one, and that's when I started it, and I put it back, and I kind of kept looking at it, and I was like, well, if I finish it over the weekend, I can have it back on the shelf for someone else in no time. So, yeah, so I
Oh.
just went through it, just
Oh,
read it over
good.
the weekend,
Good.
totally avoided Tarrant and whatever's going on in that thing, and but
Oh, good. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I mean, because I really did. Yeah, I don't always pick books because they're great. I just feel like there are like a lot of talking points, and just things to discuss from this book.
right.
And I'm hoping, well, I mean, actually, I think some of the best discussions that we have had are from books that have been somewhat controversial, but then again,
Right.
our book club members should know me by now. That's just who I am.
But I mean, and plus, just because one person thinks it's great doesn't mean everyone thinks it's great. But even trying to like read all these great things, you're eventually going to start putting them on levels like, Genji on the bottom, kind of.
I have been told that even if a book isn't great, that they always get something from the discussion. And
Yeah.
that makes me much happier than them saying that they love the book.
Right. No, but that's
That's part of what a book club discussion is, I think.
yeah. Like, what's the point of discussing it if you're not trying to?
Right.
I mean, I'm not trying to force my opinion of convenience store woman upon you. Like, that's seems a little Stone Age. I don't know.
No, it can be somewhat, right? I
Right.
mean, to have those arcane views.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think the point of any sort of talk about any sort of art should be to force. I think it's to discuss what the individual may have gotten from it, or discuss things that it made them realize about the world. But I don't think it's supposed to be to force a view upon somebody.
No, and I don't think our discussions have ever been about that. And I think they always bring up a lot of good points. So I always gain so much from the book talks.
Well, I've never been to one. Don't plan to go to any, but there are times that y'all pick some books that seem really dark, and everyone is just like rollicking in here. And I don't know what y'all are. I don't know how y'all turn this conversation, but
We have very colorful discussions, and they turn very funny sometimes.
I can tell.
So that's always fun, and they're such a great group of women,
Right.
and I just always enjoy it. But if it's not too personal, how did you relate most to Keiko?
The whole idea of like having to wear the masks and present yourself to certain people certain ways, and like you might feel one way whether it's opposite or apathetically towards the thing, but you still have to deal with other people.
Mm-hmm.
The whole like idea of like wearing the different masks. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably not the thing I should divulge, but here we are.
Okay, so since you have divulged yours, I mean, I would probably say I'm strange in my own way. And I feel that there were a lot of expectations that were expected of me just from my parents and my family that I just didn't really want to follow, or that I feel weren't really me.
Right.
And so that's what I could relate to most.
Well, I guess your experience reading it too is going to be completely different because, I'm not a woman and I didn't have to deal with certain pressures from society, those particular pressures from society. So you're going to totally yank different. You're going to see that book in a completely different way than I did. So,
Okay.
we all do. I'm saying all these like vague umbrella statements. I'm not trying to be like profound. I don't know.
But as a male, you did gain something as well
Oh yeah,
from her character. Okay.
I did. Yeah, and she added the right characters, and even ones that didn't show up, like the friend group. They all, like, I guess, like Warwick, served their purpose for building the themes.
And I just love the fact that it takes place where she found her place in a convenience store.
Right. Well, I read on the back that the author also works at a convenience store.
Yes, I was so tickled by that too, and that's how she came up with ideas for the book.
Right. I wonder, because this wasn't her first book. Apparently, she's really like, were all the awards for this book, or the awards that she won were for other things? Right. That's what I understood.
I am not sure, but this book did win an award.
Okay.
I don't remember which one.
Because I wonder. I guess I
It's
should have looked that up. Where I wonder if this is her first book, or if this was way down the line and she finally took the pieces from her life to be able to tell this particular story. I don't know. Don't expect me to prepare for something.
okay.